Hey everyone, and welcome to another Xdefiant video. This video unfortunately doesn't have much updates to go off of. Instead, we're just gonna go ahead and just go over what we know so far, on top of sharing some speculations on how I believe that early 2024 is more than likely the release date for Xdefiant, and on top of other things. Some of it may involve Call of Duty, which, speaking of which, before I bring those points and anything after that, feel free to comment this in the section, or make sure you kind of carry this statement in your head going forward. Xdefiant is not a Call of Duty killer. Only Call of Duty can kill Call of Duty. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and review what we know so far. Xdefiant. As far as we can tell, there was a alpha. I can't say much about it to this day because I'm under NDA. What I can talk about is the betas and the last update that we got in early December. The betas, however, one of them, you're looking at footage right now. This is probably the last of what I have to even show of gameplay. On top of that, the betas were actually improving with each one, where the Mark and the Xdefiant team were kind of just taking our feedback and putting it into the beta, each one kind of improving it. And I know that despite all that, we were expecting the game to be out around late summer, around September was the last deadline for it. And what ended up happening instead was they kind of indefinitely delayed it. But even though they did that, there was, I remember, another PTS, but it was only PC. And then I remember there was like a live stream where I guess it was like a game. Some YouTuber had like a game thing going on, and Xdefiant did have a little slot in there. But public-wise, that was the last we heard or last we got of it. Other than that, it was just Mark Rubin and the Xdefiant team keeping us updated on everything that there was to keep about this game. But I don't want to bore you with the details. I'll just wrap up everything because I did explain this in my last video. Everything's looking good. They are fixing the netcode, so the game should be running smoother. They switched everything to Linux servers, so server stability should be really good as well. And the big issue, which was the reason why we didn't even get the game in the first place and why it's been delayed and everything, was the party system. Apparently, once they submit the games and they were testing everything, the party system had some issues. And most, like, say, Microsoft, Sony, and all that, they do not want to launch the game if the party system doesn't work. What's the point of playing an online game if you can't even party up with your friends, you know? But from the last update that we got, that's pretty much all been fixed as far as we can tell. They started using the same party system that they use in other Ubisoft games. So next submission, the game should go through. But my expectation, or my guess here, is that they're going to just release a final beta to kind of see how it handles in great masses, and then put it for submission, and then we can finally get our actual release date. I know that sucks hearing that, because I know most of you are going through that Xdefiant burnout, or just kind of willing to give this up. But you just gotta hang on there, because remember, this game has no skill-based matchmaking. It's basically ping is key. It's free to play, so when it does release, you're not going to be shelling out a bunch of money, like more than likely, like the most recent Call of Duty being $70, $48.49. I don't know, it's on sale, but you're not shelling anything. The only thing you're giving up is some space on your game system or hardware if you're on PC. So that's pretty much all you're giving up once this game does release. I know it's a bit of a wait, but it'll be worth it once it does come out. Next up, I do want to bring up the community around Xdefiant. I know we don't see as many videos on YouTube. We're not seeing as many clips, but keep in mind, there is a huge scene being made in the background. So yes, when the game comes out, we're going to be seeing stuff like casual clips, competitive clips, which, by the way, because I have some, insight on the Xdefiant scene, they told me there's already 30 plus teams in the background, getting ready to do a competitive tournament scene with Xdefiant. And also, bear with me on this next part. I do wanted to give a quick little shout out to two organizations run by a friend of mine. She basically is in charge of both of these, and I wanted to give them a shout out. It's going to sound a little off coming from me because I'm reading from a script, and the reason I'm doing this is because I do not want to botch this up. I want it to be as professional as possible. So yes, out of the many organizations out there, one of them, Women Xdefiant, designed for both competitive and casual players while creating a safe and inclusive space for the LGBTQ community. Another org, Xdefiant Esports, has plans to have teams and players hailing not only from the US but also from Europe, South America, and Australia. They plan on bringing in coaches with extensive experience from the alpha tests to the most recent beta of Xdefiant, along with a background in competing across various franchises such as Call of Duty and Overwatch. Additionally, the owner of both organizations has a commitment that extends to supporting both small and large Xdefiant content creators. That was a lot to read. But basically what that means is if you are like someone like me, a streamer, a content creator, anything like that, just know once this game does come out, there is gonna be a huge I can see Xdefiant being a sports scene soon. So if you're someone that wants to, start content creating with Xdefiant and everything, I'll be sure to leave a link to both these organizations in the description, just so you can reach out and follow them. If there's any other orgs out there that that want to be named too, feel free to reach out. I don't mind adding them to the description. This is a community-based video, so I don't want to make this more about me and just basically make this more of a community video for everyone else that's interested in Xdefiant. And lastly, now on to the big thing of why I believe Xdefiant should be aging like fine wine. I mentioned it before, but it was basically Call of Duty. It's heavy skill-based matchmaking. It's EOMM. It's basically all these shady practices that they're doing for player retention, but instead they're just making the game a boring mess. And pretty much from what I've seen from content creators for like Blame Truth, Nero, Exclusive Ace, Murder Show, many others I've seen, even some small channels like myself, everyone's divisive. Like some of them are starting to come with conspiracy theories that there's bots in the game, that there's what's it called, fog that affects you based off skill-based matchmaking, that the game is, it's like a casino in a sense where it's just gonna, tweak things to see if you're gonna win, if you're gonna lose, how much by how much you're gonna win. But there's just so much going on, and the thing is, when people catch on, the Xdefiant is simply just turn it on, play, and your connection is good. You're not being put into teammates based off skill, but just off connection and everything. Which one's going to be the one that's going to, draw people more? The free-to-play game, or the one that's you have to buy the game on sale or buy it at its full $70 price and hope that you have a good experience? You already know me. If I had to decide between those, I'm already siding with Xdefiant, and it's not even because it's free to play. I know for a fact I'm probably gonna have to take out a second mortgage or something based off how much money I'm gonna put into this game just to show support. And speaking of support, did you hear about the most recent news regarding Scump doing Call of Duty League watch parties and how they DMCA'd them? And I know they kind of fixed that up, and I guess the workaround to it is he's gonna be streaming on YouTube, but either way, though, when you're having a huge professional event, I don't think it's a good look when a huge streamer is willing to give your event free publicity just by kind of watching it and reacting to it. I know that might seem like he's taking views from the Call of Duty League, but realistically, what he was doing was, yes, he was, reacting, watching the Call of Duty League, but in a sense, he's putting eyes on the event, and say someone watching Scump doesn't want to hear his commentary, well, then just go to Call of Duty League. The second you, put a DMCA on them, all that's going to do is deter someone from wanting to watch it or even support it because, well, it's a scummy move. So what I'm thinking is also, say when Xdefiant comes out and they start having tournament leagues based off, the 30 plus teams that I just mentioned earlier, plus the many organizations and everything, you can tell, if Xdefiant doesn't do this and they let big streamers stream the tournament events or the orgs and everything like that, it's going to basically make Xdefiant blow up. And I know many of you don't believe that, but I mean, realistically, and I don't know if this is a good example, Apex Legends. There was no marketing involved. It just shadow dropped. A bunch of big streamers started playing it, and it blew up. Like, it blew up more than it should have. I can see the same thing happening with Xdefiant. Simply put, because of COD burnout, people are already getting tired of playing Call of Duty, and here comes a fresh new game with, I know there's going to be a lot of weapon metas, but the thing they also have to factor in is the fact that there's also abilities that they kind of have to balance around. It can't just be, oh, this gun will get you all these wins and everything, and you'll be good to go and everything. That's not how that works. They're going to have to put in more work. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is, even if you're a small channel or a big channel, there's going to be a good amount of work just to make sure that you get everything right when it comes to making metas in Xdefiant. And it's not going to be just as easy as putting as many guns into a thing, because, it's going to shake up the whole shooting scene, because, yes, you can have the best gun ever, but, can it go through someone overhealing or someone's shield? That's things that, we're going to have to find out in the near future. So let's go ahead and wrap this video up. So what do we know then? So far, Xdefiant is in a good condition right now. Its netcode is good. The servers are good since switching to Linux. It's the only hiccup was the party system, which they fixed by moving it to Ubisoft's party systems, and that seems to be working. We don't know a release date. The year is almost over. Basically, by the time I release this, it's like less than a week actually of the year being over. So 2024, once they come back from their holiday break or whatever, we'll probably get a good update along with maybe a final beta and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're at with Xdefiant. It's been a rough road, but trust me, and from what I've seen, it should be worth the wait. And I mean that literally. The game's gonna come out with 5 factions, 14 maps, 10 of them being arena based, and 4 progression, which was what you just saw earlier with having to capture a point and then kind of progress through the map. 5 modes and 24 weapons. Keep in mind, we didn't get to test all of them in the beta, so let's see what kind of weapons we're going to be dealing with on full release. And on top of that, we still have the 1-year roadmap. With each season, they're adding in 3 new weapons and a potential new faction. So I know it's been a rough wait, and I understand that. But keep in mind, they are hard at work. They are not, and I'm going to say this one more time, they are not a Call of Duty killer. They are just an arena-based shooter with some very passionate teams working behind it. Nothing more. So I know you can go ahead and say it if it is a COD killer. Maybe it is in your eyes. But I don't want that to be the identity that this game picks up, because it was a lot of fun playing the numerous betas. And, once the game does come out, we're going to see it in the best shape, because we had some hardworking dev team behind it. Anyways, that's about it for the video. Again, I want to remind you that 2 of the orgs that I gave a shout out to earlier, I'll be sure to leave a link to their Twitter in the description below. As well, if you're an org yourself, go ahead and feel free to reach out to me either through Twitter or in the comments or something like that, and I'll be sure to add it on there, because again, this is more of a community video above anything else. And yeah, if you want to get a hold of me through socials too, I have a Kratos Agape link that has all of my socials there, as well as my Discord server if you want to join. And yeah, you can also catch my streams on Twitch. And pretty much, yeah, that's all I got to say. Until 2024, hopefully we get the big update that we're looking forward to with Xdefiant. And until the next video, I'll see you all later.
That's how Shadow Team does it.